Hi friends, hope you're doing good and well on your preparation. So far we have done videos on Python programming and computer science related or technology based topics in this channel. From now on we are shifting our focus to a completely new, a completely different UPSC civil services preparation, and here we mainly deal with Indian polity, one of the core subjects in your UPSC syllabus. And of course we always follow a strategy, a plan that definitely help you in scoring high marks in all the phases of the exam, prelims, mains, as well as personality test or interview. And of course, those who are from non-humanities background might have some problem, might have some detachment to the subject, because we have done Indian polity up to 10th standard. So our plan is we do the lectures in two series, series 1 and series 2. In the first series, we will focus on NCERT of class 11, that is Indian Constitution work. So after completing the topics of Indian Constitution work, you'll get a basic understanding of Indian polity, Indian governance, constitution, everything. So after completing Indian Constitution work, we will move to M. Lakshmikant, one of the finest materials for UPSC polity. So without spending much time on this, let's start today's topic, today's lecture. And before starting the important topics, of course we need a base of the terminology. So these are the terminologies you can see or you can experience everywhere. Whenever you read Lakshmikant or NCERT, you will have to deal with all these terminologies. So first of all, we have to create a base. On that base you can develop anything on it, right? So we cannot start from scratch. That's the very idea. So in this lecture we'll see the basic terminologies in polity. Okay, so let's move on. And importance of this course. Why this course? Why do I conduct this course? The very reason is, of course, it is a part of GS2. It is a part of your General Studies paper 2, along with governance, constitution, social justice and international relations. Even though these are very much correlated topics, we have to look it from its own perspective, right? Yeah. And of course it's a very dynamic subject. Each and every day you can see some new comings every day, right? The parliament, constitutional amendments, all those stuff. So it is a very dynamic subject. Along with this conceptual clarity, you need the latest trends or the latest updates in this field of constitutional polity. Then it runs the society. Of course, we know we all based on Indian constitution, right? Everything, each and every stuff. So these are the three core components. That is why we do this. And of course, the way we approach this course is, we first of all we try to make some conceptual understanding. Conceptual clarity must be there. Otherwise, it won't be easy for you. It won't be that helpful for you in writing mains. Of course, one more thing here, we do not distinguish mains and prelims, or mains, prelims, or your personality test. We consider or we do study based on your mains, right? So it will be definitely helpful for your prelims as well, right? Okay. Then approach to the subject. Our approach will be that easy, because polity, some are considering polity as a boring subject. It's never, because it runs the society. That's a very logic, right? Yeah. So creative study, of course, if we feel any problem with any of the concepts, what we are doing is we are trying to create or make mnemonics, right? Shorts, yeah, short forms, whatever it is. So this will be the approach. We will try to make it as simple as possible, and we will bring out the clarity, conceptual clarity or understanding. And of course, there are some misconceptions, like it deals with only constitution articles. It's not. It deals every aspect of the government, right? Government and governance. Yeah. So this is why we do have this course. And let's move on. These are the fundamental concepts or basic concepts you have to encounter each and every time you read polity, or M. Lakshmikant, or your NCERTs, whatever it is. So political science and polity, we'll see the difference. Then constitution, government and its organs, parliament, state legislative assembly, state legislative council, then amendments, basic structure doctrine, preamble, fundamental rights, directive principles of state policy, fundamental duties, governance, election, bill and law, due process of law and procedure established by law, emergency, and local self-government. Of course, these are the most commonly used or commonly seen words or terminologies even in newspapers, right? Yeah. So I think you're aware of all these terms. You're familiar with all these terms or terminologies, whatever it is. So let's start with political science. Political science and polity. It seems to be somewhat, correlated, right? Yes, related, of course. And political science, it is a wide perspective. It's a branch of social science or social sciences, and it deals with the practice and theory of politics and government, and it, basic rural level to the international levels. So it has a wide span of working or functionality, right? Yes. Then politics across various strata of the government, but polity is specific. We can say political science is a broad concept, polity is a narrow concept. Actually, it is not narrow, but for the sake of understanding, you can say that. You can think like that. Okay. Yeah. Then specific form or unit of political organization. That's what polity is. So it deals with a particular entity, but political science deals with all the aspects of what government and all its organs, everything, each and everything, and it ranges from local level to international levels, right? Yeah. So Aristotle, Greek philosopher, is a father of political science, and the term polity was coined by Thomas Hobbes in his article. Then constitution, of course, when we look at it in constitution, one line statement or one line definition is of course the supreme law of the country, right? Constitution is the supreme law of the country, and here in India it is a written constitution. So let's see the definition: aggregate of fundamental principles, legal basis of polity, organization, government, institution, everything, determine how that entity is to be governed. So these are the different statements that can contribute to the definition of constitution. Aggregate of fundamental principles. It consists of so many principles and directives and principles, and then that's a legal basis for polity, organization, every aspect of Indian society, right? Yes. Then there are two types of constitutions: written constitution, unwritten constitution. The main difference is, okay, when we listen to the term written constitution, unwritten constitution, please don't think unwritten constitution is the one that is not at all written. Okay, it is not that. And the difference is, of course, written in written constitution, like in India or in USA, principles are written down into a single document or set of legal documents. That means the principles are written in a single document or as a single document or set of documents, like in India and USA. But in unwritten constitution, like in Britain, what exactly the terminology meant is written in numerous fundamental acts of a legislator, court cases or treaties. That means it's scattered. Actually, it is not combined into a single form, right? It is it is located here and there. So at the time of referring to the constitution, we have to look at the exact place and we have to fetch it out. So that's the main difference between written constitution and unwritten constitution. Written constitution is binded as a single unit or a single document or a set of documents, but in unwritten constitution it is it's located in different places. Different place in the sense it can be legislature, it can be court case, it can be some treaties, whatever it is, right? Okay. And in the case of Indian constitution, we can see it's a supreme law of the country. It's a written document. Of course, it's a written document. Then constitute government in the first place, limit the government. Of course, constitution places the government at the first place or in the first place. Then it limits the government. Otherwise, what happens is, what happens is government will have a superpower and which may not be good for the society, right? Government will have complete autonomy or control over the people. Then government to fulfill the aspirations of the society through various social programs. Then constituted by Constituent Assembly. Actually, it was constituted by Constituent Assembly, right? At the time of reading this, what you have to think about is the father of Indian Constitution is none other than B.R. Ambedkar, of course, modern Manu, right? Yeah. Next is government and its organs. What is a government? Government is a system or group of people governing an organized community, generally a state. What's the meaning of state here? State doesn't mean states in India. A state is an authority. State is an authority that can take decisions, that can implement decisions, that can monitor, that can control. Okay, that's what a state is. Yeah. Then organizational policies are enforced as well as mechanism for determining policy. Of course, that's the lawmaking body, we can say, lawmaking body, government. Then different types of governments: direct democracy, representative democracy, socialism, communism, monarchy, oligarchy, and autocracy. Direct democracy in India, we follow what? Indirect democracy, right? We will of course we will discuss all these topics in detail in the coming lectures. Then government, these are the three organs of government: legislature, executive, and judiciary. Legislature, what's the meaning? Legislate, legal. That means that's the authority to make laws for the country, right? Our parliament. Yes, that's a legislator, lawmaking body. And executive, the very meaning is execution, right? Executing, enforces the law, enforces the principles and policies of the government. That's what executive is. Then judiciary. Judiciary is the third organ of government that interprets and defends the law. Judiciary is the interpreter of the constitution, we can say the constitution, right? Okay, so these are the three organs of government: legislature, executive, and judiciary. Hope you understood the difference, right? Legislature, that's a parliament, makes the law, and executive, the authority that is enforcing or implementing the laws and policies of the government, and judiciary, interpreting, defending the law. Then there are two types of executives: political executive and permanent executive. Political executive, like president, prime minister, a council of ministers, it is temporary in nature. Every 5 years it's getting elected. Then permanent executive, IAS, it is permanent in nature. So these are the two types of executive: political executive and permanent executive. Governor comes under political, right? Yes. And permanent executive, IAS. Okay. Next is parliament. Parliament is a supreme lawmaking body, or we can say supreme legislative body. Legislature means lawmaking, right? Body of the Republic of India. And bicameral legislator. It is bicameral. Bi means two. Bicameral means two houses, right? So Indian Parliament consists of two houses: Lok Sabha and Raj Sabha, House of the People and Council of States. And Lok Sabha, it is directly elected, and that's a lower house. That is temporary in nature. Every 5 years, members are getting elected, right? New members are getting elected, we can say. Yeah. Then Rajya Sabha, it is based on proportional representation. It is not directly elected. It's based on geographical, representation, state-wise. Yeah, we do it in detail in the coming classes. Then that's upper house, and that's permanent in nature. That is permanent in nature. So these are the two houses of Indian Parliament: Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Then elected or nominated by the president, to either house of the parliament are called members of the parliament, or MPs. A member elected to Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha can be called as MPs. Okay, member of parliament. Yeah. Next is state legislature. Actually, some states consist of only state legislative assembly. Most of the Indian states consist of only one unicameral system. That is only one body, that is state legislative assembly. But some states consist of two bodies: state legislative council as well. Okay. Then about assembly, legislative branch in a federal system: Vidhan Sabha, it's also called Vidhan Sabha, is a legislative body in the states and union territories of India. And about state legislative council, Vidhan Parishad, it's called Vidhan Parishad. Assembly is called Vidhan Sabha, and the other one is called Vidhan Parishad. Is the upper house that have bicameral legislature, and these are the states that consist of what? Bicameral, both the houses, right? Yeah. Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Telangana, Maharashtra, Bihar, and Uttar Pradesh and J&K. So these are the states having two bodies, or yeah, bicameral system. Bi means always two, and this is the hierarchy. Governor is on the top because he is the first person, right? First person in the state. Then legislature consists of assembly and council. Hope you understood the concept. Most of the Indian states are having only one legislative body, that is state legislative assembly, but some are having both the assembly as well as council. Okay. Yeah. Then amendments. What are amendments? Amendments are nothing but changes. Changes that can be added to the constitution or existing constitution, making changes to the nation's fundamental laws or law or supreme law of the Constitution of India, and it's based on Article 368, and it keeps a check on arbitrary power of the Parliament of India. It always keeps a check on arbitrary power of the Parliament of India. And in the most famous Keshavananda Bharati versus State of Kerala, which was happened in 1973, Supreme Court has emphasized on basic structure doctrine. We'll see that in the coming slide. And in 42nd Amendment is called Mini Constitution, which was done in 1976 by Indira Gandhi government, and there were so many amendments were added in the 42nd amendment, like in the preamble something was added like socialism, socialist secular, then integrity, all those stuff were added in the 42nd amendment. That was the lengthiest of all the amendments. Okay. So amendment means nothing but changes, but we cannot break the basic structure doctrine. And what is basic structure doctrine? Certain characteristics of the constitution that cannot be erased by its legislator. The very meaning is there are some basic features or basic structure in the constitution that cannot be changed by the parliament, even if they possess the supreme majority, because that affect the very soul of the constitution, right? It must not. So there is always a control. There is always a control by the judiciary. That's why judiciary does what? Interpreting and defending the law, right? And it was developed by the Supreme Court of India in Keshavananda Bharati versus State of Kerala in 1973, and Supreme Court emphasized on basic structure doctrine. Hope you understood the concept, right? Basic structure doctrine. That means Parliament cannot do anything and everything, even though they are having supreme majority, right? Okay. Something cannot be changed. That's meaning. Something cannot be changed. What are the something? Something that does with the basic structure, right? Basic soul, basic structure of the what? Constitution. Yes. Then preamble. Preamble is nothing but the introductory part or introduction to the constitution, right? Yes, or expressionary stuff. Then present the principles of the constitution, indicates the sources of its authority. It was adopted on 26th November 1949, which was written in the preamble by the Constituent Assembly, came into effect on 26th January 1950, celebrated as Republic Day of India. And you have to by heart it. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, social, secular, democratic republic, and to secure all of its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and strength of or integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this constitution. So you have to learn it, you have to by heart it. That's the most important part of the constitution, preamble, introduction. Next is about fundamental rights. Fundamental means very important, right? Yeah. Then basic human rights enshrined in the Constitution of India. These are fundamental rights and guaranteed to all citizens. There are 6 fundamental rights at present. Originally it was 7, but right to property was taken away. Then the concept was taken from USA, and these are the rights: right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies. You can make a short form for this, FREC, right to EFEREC, FREC. Okay, yeah. There are more mnemonics. Okay. Then rights. Okay, there are 2 types of rights: ordinary rights and fundamental rights. Ordinary rights are supported by ordinary laws, but fundamental rights by what? Constitution of India. Then directive principles of state policy, DPSP. The keyword you can have it for DPSP is always welfare state, right? It is aimed to establish welfare state, or India as a welfare state. Directive principles of state policy. What is that actually? These are some directions given for policy making of the state, of the country, of the nation. Okay, all the ideals which the state should follow and keep in mind while formulating policies and enacting laws for the country. So these are the things, these are some directions which have to be kept in mind while formulating policies and enacting laws for the country by the government. Aims to establish or ensuring socio-economic justice to the people, and it was taken from Irish Constitution, Directive Irish. Okay, and different forms, socialist, Gandhian, and of course liberal principles. Okay, these are some of the principles based on using which the concept was created. Directive principles of state policy was created. So it's used to establish a welfare state. These are the things to be taken care of, or taken care of while formulating policies. Okay. Then fundamental duties. These are the moral obligations. These are the duties, and of course fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are enforceable, but fundamental duties are not enforceable. Not enforceable by the court. That, what is the meaning? That means we cannot approach the court, right? Yes. Then the moral obligations of all citizens to help promote spirit of patriotism, oneness, uphold the unity of India, and the concept was taken from USSR. There are 11 fundamental duties, like respect the national flag and national symbols, then defend the country, yes, education, everything. Okay, there are it's given over here. You can have a look at it. Okay, yeah. Then governance, that is what government does, right? The act or process of governing or overseeing the control and direction of a country or an organization. Governance is what government does. Whatever government is doing, it's a part of governance. A good governance. These are the features of good governance. Accountability, transparency, follows rule of law, responsiveness, equitable and inclusive, consensus oriented. These are some of the features a good governance has or must have, right? Yeah. Then election. Election means electing the members to the houses. India follows parliamentary system, which was defined by the constitution. Then power distributed between the central government and state governments. Okay, India follows federal structure, right? Federal, yeah, having more authority at the center or with the center. Then there are two types of democracies: direct and indirect democracy. Direct democracy means people are participating in the democracy directly, but in indirect democracy, people elect members or their representatives, and they send those representatives to the assemblies or to the parliament, and they take decision on behalf of the people. But in direct democracy, people get what features or facilities for participating in the democratic process directly. Okay, yes. In India, we follow indirect. Then bill and law. What is a bill? Bill is a proposed legislation under consideration by a legislator, and bill does not become law until it's passed by the legislature. So bill is a document that is that's to be what that is a pre-state or previous state of law, right? It's a proposed legislation, and after the government or the legislator passes it, it becomes law. Hope you get it, right? Bill and law. Then there are two important concepts: procedure established by law and due process of law. In India, we follow procedure established by law, but in US it is due process of law. And let's look at what procedure established by law is. The procedure established by law means that the law is duly enacted by the legislator or the concerned body, is valid only if correct procedure has been followed. That is, it looks, or it has more emphasis or more focus on whether we follow the correct procedure or not. But in due process of law, it looks not only or it not only checks if there is a law to deprive the life and personal liberty of a person, but also ensures that the law is made fair and just. In procedure established by law, we don't have any provision for law is fair or just, fair and just. We cannot look, or we cannot probe into whether the law is made fair and just. But in due process law, we have that provision. In India, we follow procedure established by law. It sees the procedure, only the procedure. But in due process of law, along with seeing or looking at how the procedure, it looks at the law is correct or incorrect, the law is just or unjust, right? Yes. Then compared to due process of law, it is narrow in scope. Procedure established by law is narrow in scope, and it does not question whether the law is contrary to principles of justice and equity. Then the due process of law gives wide scope to the Supreme Court to grant protection to the rights of the citizens. That means due process of law is a broad concept, and procedure established by law is a narrow concept. Okay. Yeah. Then emergency, that safeguard the region from autocracy paired with domestic showers, wars, and foreign assaults. And emergency, there are three types of emergencies. Yeah, national emergency, president's rule and financial emergency. And national emergency, it's on Article 352, president's rule, Article 356, Article 360, financial emergency. Then local self-government, like panchayat, municipal corporations. Okay, yeah. Governmental jurisdictions below the level of the state. India is a federal republic with three spheres of government: central, state, and local. And PRI, in Panchayat Raj institutions in rural areas have three hierarchies of Panchayat: Gram Panchayat at village level, Mandal or Block Panchayat at block level, Zilla Parishad or at the district level, district Panchayat. Okay, yeah, or Zilla Panchayat. Yeah. So these are the local self-government. The bottom, the bottom level of government, right? Yes. Here, many think that people participate in the democratic process directly. So these are the terminologies, basic terminologies you have to look after. Of course, hope you understood each and everything, and you can make notes out of it. Okay, yeah. So hope you understood everything, and in the next class we will have the first chapter of NCERT, Indian Constitution work, and stay tuned for that. You can follow me on my Telegram, Gautam's official for UPSC CSE, and YouTube, of course, Gautam Damodar. Okay, so hopefully you get everything. See you in the next video. Take care.